major issues on all the highways out there from the amount of rain that we've had just this morning across the entire region. No let up in that throughout the day today. In fact, it's going to rain on and off all day. And notice the moisture coming off the Atlantic Ocean. You can see that just feeder bands of heavy rain. That's not going to end anytime soon. That's our weather picture for the day. We do have some flood warnings, flash flood warnings in effect for the area for Chester and York County till 11:30 this morning. Also a flash flood warning in effect until 11 also for Mecklenburg and Cabarrus County and Union County. Flooding over there with that flood warning in effect until 9:45 this morning. I would say most of the area is probably going to be under some type of warning later on today with the amount of rain that we get. Now these are some of the estimates, Doppler estimated rainfall totals we've had, and this is just this morning, just east of Charlotte, about 1.5 inches, Wadesboro 1.5 inches. Well, you go way east and southeast of here, check that out. Lumberton, almost 5.5 inches of rain. Mullins down there in South Carolina, over 7 inches of rainfall, and more will be added to that. That's why it is an issue out there. And you can see we're going to see anywhere across the Charlotte metro up to 4 inches of rain, east of here 4 to 6 inches. With the amount of rain that we've had so far, it's causing major issues on all the interstates and the highways this morning. Let's get the latest on that. Here's Chris.
Yeah, what an absolute mess. Here's an example from our traffic tracker over here in Union County. This is what you could approach to. Your windshield wipers are either going to be at that low to moderate level, but at times they're going to be at that full speed as you're going to be out and about. A lot of increased traffic just because the additional incidents that are on the roads, and also we're seeing a lot of road closures across the area. So thanks a lot to our traffic tracker. Let's move on. Here's our big incident, the most recent one, up to a 10+ minute delay because of an overturned vehicle. That's right here in the 485 outer loop, right at the Wilkinson Boulevard exit. This is backed up to I-85 and even a little bit past that, where some of that slow traffic is now forming across the area. We have multiple incidents. This blue shading right here per our road weather index is representing that we have ponding and significant ponding on some of these roads. So look at the amount of incidents. I don't have time to get to all of them. You just got to know that especially some of those low-lying back roads are an absolute mess. We're going to be hearing from Austin Walker a little bit later on in the hour. This area got dumped about quick 2 inches of rain in about an hour and a half. That's Sam Newell Road just east of Independence Boulevard, right near the Walmart there. So Sam Newell Road between Lakeview Circle and Margaret Wallace Road, underwater, completely closed. We'll have live images coming up here shortly.
Thanks. Well, this morning, Debbie, impacting schools across our region. Keep in mind, some schools are back from summer break. Others are still offering summer programs. Rowan, Salisbury, Stanley County, Cabarrus County all closed today. Stanley says students will now have to wait until Monday for that first day of school. Meanwhile, CMS early and middle colleges, as well as Chester and Chesterfield counties, will move to remote learning today.
We're also staying on top of the potential for power outages. This is a live look at the current outage map. We checked just a moment ago. Duke is reporting about 19,000 outages in and around Charlotte. We're also seeing a lot over in Kannapolis and Mooresville right now. We will be checking back on these numbers throughout the morning because the wetter the ground gets, the more likely trees are to fall over and knock down those power lines. And we continue with more team coverage of Tropical Storm Debby. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards standing by with what to know before students in Fort Mill and Rock Hill head back to class today.
But first, let's go out to WCNC Charlotte's Richard Vane. He's live in Union County where we're starting to see those initial impacts. I mean, Richard, according to Larry just a few moments ago, folks there have seen 2 inches of rain just this morning.
That's absolutely correct. And as you heard Sarah mention, that the more water on the ground, the more saturated it becomes, and more reports of trees down. Not in the city of Monroe where we were the last 30 minutes or so, but in Union County, there are several reports of trees down in the area. Let's take a look first of all at the roads that we see right here. Actually, we're having an issue with turning our camera around, so we'll just tell you what we're looking at. The roads are wet. There is pooling on the sides of the road. We're seeing a lot of issues where folks are having to slow down. That's some good advice for people. Take it slow as you get on the roads today, and you will have a situation where a lot of people are actually needing to go in. If you have to go in, okay, take extra precautions. But if you don't have to go in, it's best not to go in. Since we're having issues showing you our traffic cam, we'll come back in a little bit. We're going to send it back to you. We're right here driving on 74 in Union County. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thank you. Stay safe out there. Our team coverage continues now this morning. Destiny Richards live in Fort Mill, where some school districts are braving the storm, heading back to class in just a few hours. Destiny, what should parents know as they are taking their kids to school today?
Yeah, well, because of all of this rain and wind, you're really just going to want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time and pack those umbrellas and rain jackets. And to talk more about this, we have Joe Burke, who's the Chief Communications Officer for Fort Mill Schools. Right now, things are expected to go as planned for the first day.
Yeah, right now we're still on schedule. Matter of fact, we've already got buses that have rolled out of the lot here at the school, so we're ready to have all of our students back in today.
Yeah, and then just tell us a little bit about what families should expect. Obviously, very nasty weather, but things expected to go as normal. Just plan for like you would any other nasty weather day.
Yes, it is wet, it is rainy, so obviously it's a chance for the students to show off their rubber ducky rain boots, but we are still going to have school today. The wind thresholds have been low enough where we're not hit the point where buses cannot run, so we've been very fortunate with that. So it is going to be like another heavy rain day that we've had in schools in the past. So the main thing is pack the patience and be calm and be careful when driving anywhere in the district, but especially in those school zones because it is going to be wet and possibly slick. So just everybody be calm, be patient, and we'll have a great first day of school.
Yeah, and especially be careful for people who are walking their kids to school. The crossing guard's going to be out there and just making sure people are safe out there.
Yes, we'll have our crossing guards out. Obviously, we'll have our car rides are going to be coming in. We will still have kids walking even though it is raining. Some of our students do that. So, yeah, just keep those eyes open. Drive a little slower today. And honestly, that goes for anywhere in the district. So just be careful on the roads, and we'll look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much. And still waiting on if there is an update from Rock Hill Schools, but again, school starting in just a couple of hours. We'll be sure to keep you updated, but as of right now, just plan for everything to go as normal and give yourself a lot of time to get to school on time. I'll send it back to you guys in studio.
A very wet start to the school year. All right, Destiny, thanks. Well, no surprise, Debbie also having an impact over at Charlotte Douglas this morning. We just checked the latest numbers moments ago. So far, 31 flights have been delayed, 7 more are canceled. If you have to fly today, be sure to check with your airline and check your flight status often, since this severe weather is expected to last all day long. And folks, we're going to stay on top of this storm throughout the morning, throughout the day. You can track the storms down to your neighborhood with the interactive radar inside the WCNC Charlotte app. It's free in your app store.
Turning now to more of your local headlines. Another suspect is behind bars this morning after a deadly East Charlotte shooting. CMPD confirms they arrested 24-year-old Adilio Lemus. This was yesterday. It comes as a judge ruled the other suspect, Kevin Zatino, will remain in jail without bond. They're accused of killing Jose Cruz and hurting 3 others on Shamrock Drive. Both suspects now face multiple charges, including murder and armed robbery.
An update this morning on the man accused of killing his wife with eye drops. Overnight, we got our hands on new court documents that show Joshua Hunsucker's 11-year-old daughter was hospitalized last year. And we're learning the same substance that killed his wife was found in his daughter's system. Hunsucker was first arrested back in December of 2019 in Gaston County, but got released on bail. He's now in jail again this morning, though, after this most recent arrest. This morning, we are finally getting some answers to the ongoing delays to a major development in Uptown. The Brooklyn Village project was approved back in 2016. It promises to create 900 new apartments, hotel, retail space as well. But as the construction start date gets pushed back to 2026, county commissioners now wondering whether the project should happen at all. The developer says there are multiple factors at play, including setbacks created by the city itself.
We also learned that the city had a reversion right and could buy the site back from anybody who owned it in 2029. So we needed to get the city to remove that reversion right, which they did in January of 2021. We're going to do everything we can to beat the June of 2026 deadline.
Developers promised commissioners that the wait would be worth it in the long run and pointed to the historical significance of the project to keep up the momentum.
All right, Larry, a busy day today. What's the one thing we need to know in weather?
Yes, one thing about the weather, the amount of rainfall that we received across parts of the area. Look at that, almost over 2 inches of rainfall down near Van Wyck, 1.6 just southeast Charlotte, and near Uptown, 1.9, almost 2 inches of rain, and more is on the way. Chris, what's the one thing about that commute this morning?
Well, the rain is leading to absolute chaos for our morning commute. This is the big incident in the morning. This is now actually up to a 20-minute delay. That overturned vehicle here on the 485 outer loop has a stop-and-go traffic now extending over 2 miles past I-85. Avoid the area if you can and just travel in general on this very busy commute.
All right, live pictures right now over Lake Norman. Also, I-77 in the background. Traffic moving a little slower than usual. We continue to track Debbie as it moves through our area throughout the day. Larry Sprinkle standing by with a look at your weather impact forecast right after the break.
Look, in today's world, every dollar counts.
The speedway over towards Concord to Monroe, Kannapolis. Barely see anything there. Lake Norman is heavy rain. You can see the interstate there in the background. That's our weather picture throughout the day today. Will not change very much at all. Maybe a break or two as we get towards later this evening. Record rainfall for the area today. Charlotte record for August 8th. Check it out. Today so far 1.45. The previous record goes all the way back to 1928, 1.37. That 1.45. We are going to add to that across the area today, maybe as much as 3 to 4 inches of rain in some spots. Now, once again, we'll take a look at some of the estimated rainfall totals since midnight. This is only since midnight, over 1.5 inches at Albemarle. You can see Wadesboro over 3 inches of rain there. We showed you once again Charlotte 1.45, almost the same at Rock Hill, over 1 inch at Chester, and more is on the way over at Charlotte 1.55. Notice the farther northwest you go, the less amount of rain. Mountains, foothills, they're going to get that eventually because it's all headed in that general direction, all from the Atlantic Ocean, the effects of Tropical Storm Debby, which made landfall much earlier this morning. Heavy rain covers the entire region with the exception of the mountains. Doesn't matter whether you're in Statesville to Rock Hill to Monroe, all the way to Albemarle up towards Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem. That rain continues, and you can see the extent of it. A lot of this is combined with the heavy rain, and we do have Flash flood warnings in effect for Mecklenburg County, Union County, all the way into Lancaster County, Chester County, and South Carolina. Some of those areas have had as much as 3.5 to 4 inches of rain. Notice the Atlantic Ocean. Center of circulation is right in here, so that's far away, but it's the amount of moisture being pumped in. Look at that flow of moisture from the Atlantic Ocean being pumped in like a fire hose right into our area. So a lot of this heavy, heavy rain is from the Atlantic Ocean and being moved right in to the Charlotte metro area. That's the major issue we're going to deal with today, the heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. We've had wind reports gusts over 45 miles per hour. That's going to take some trees down. We had a lot of power outages, and that's another major issue. So make sure you get the batteries to fire up that flashlight. Make sure your phone is charged. Hopefully it's already charged. And once again, if you can add another maybe 25 to 30 minutes to your drive today, or if you can limit going outside, that's the best thing to do because of the amount of rain we've had. Once again, flash flood warnings in effect for a lot of our area. For Chester and York County till 11:30. For Cabarrus and Mecklenburg County, that's a flash flood warning in effect till 11 a.m. And over in Union County, North Carolina, that's until 9:45. All those areas have had at least 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, and more continues to fall across the entire area today. You can see down towards areas in South Carolina. You can see Chester and Lancaster County. We have flash flood warnings in effect in those areas as well as York. I would say if you're in an area watching this right now, you'll probably at some time have a flash flood warning today. Some more of those Doppler rainfall estimates east and southeast of here. Take a look at Mullins in South Carolina, almost 7.5 inches of rain there. Whiteville, North Carolina, about 7.5. Lumberton, over 5 inches of rain, and well over 1.5 inches in the Charlotte metro area. So where's what we're seeing totals? 2 to 4 inches in the Charlotte metro. East of here, 4 to 6 inches along the Carolina coastline, much more than that. Here's what we're going to look at all day today. It's going to be the issue, weather aware, because the amount of rainfall, flooding, that's the issue we're going to be talking about. So if you're driving today, slow down, keep the low beams on, and use windshield wipers because you're going to need that out there. So major problems out there today as we check that Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Weather aware today, mid-70s with the rainfall. We could see a couple of spotty showers, say early tomorrow morning, and then better weather ahead for the weekend. Dry weather on Saturday and Sunday, and we stay in the mid to upper 80s all of next week. It's been a very busy morning in the traffic department. A lot of issues out there. Chris, what's the latest on the situation?
The latest is, and we keep on saying it, if you can avoid travel, please do so. Here's what the windshield wipers are likely looking at like as you're heading on your morning commute, and this also could be you, that you might be on a typical travel on your morning commute, and then you come up to flashing lights. This is an incident that was reported, a downed tree that's blocking a road right here in Union County. So Richard Devane is in the passenger seat. We'll find out more from what's going on here a little bit later on. But this is just a case and example. This is happening all over the place, and we've only just begun. One of the biggest incidents that we're seeing, the biggest slowdown, 2 lanes closed right here on the 485 outer loop. That is right near the Wilkinson Boulevard exit. This traffic is backed up past I-85, where speeds are averaging anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour. Also, another issue, we've been mentioning that power outages are really starting to flourish across the area. It's all that rain. Winds only up to 30 to 45 miles an hour is enough to bring down trees and larger branches, especially if some of them have been decaying, taking down power lines. Also, that issue where we were right around Richard Devane, there's also a power line issue as well. So Elon Street, Ashley Road, currently at the intersection of Allegheny Street, well, those are now 4-way stops because of the power outage. Look at our NCDOT cameras. They're shaking all over the place, showing the power of the wind, so hands at 10 and 2 on top of the ponding that we're dealing with. This incident is really close to I-77 southbound right here at LaSalle Street. There's incidents all over the place, and one that we're going to find out a little bit more information about. This road has now been blocked for over an hour due to flooding. They had close to about 2 inches of rain that fell over 2 hours. More from Ben and Sarah.
All right, Chris, thank you. Now we're going to send it out to WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker live in Matthews, where we are seeing some flooding there. Austin, what's it looking like where you are?
Yeah, hey, Sarah, good morning. We obviously were heading out here because we heard reports of high water and flooding, but we couldn't get through because of this right here. You can see officers are on scene diverting traffic. This road, we're right here in Matthews. That is on Williams Road, just off of Rice Road. That's closed down. And the whole reason is because, like Chris was talking about, these down power lines. You can see right here, they are touching the ground off the poles. Now, Duke Energy always telling us that if you see this, imagine that they are live and they are active. So they could be very dangerous. So if you see this in your area, which is we're seeing reports across the viewing area, make sure to not touch them, stay clear of them, because again, we want to make sure you are as safe as possible. Now, the impacts of this storm is being felt right here and all across the area. You can see the rain is still falling. It's not as windy as it was, but still that wind is picking up here and there, and the rain is continuous. So those reports of flooding obviously are just going to get greater throughout the day as this storm does continue to move throughout this area. But still, we are currently in Matthews, where you can see the impact of the storm right now. Again, if you're driving along these roads, you're in the Matthews area or around the Charlotte area, please be cognizant and cautious of that travel time. 10 and 2 is your best friend right now. Obviously, that wind is picking up, and as we're talking right now, the rain is actually falling even more. We'll be out here all morning bringing you the latest updates, but for now, we're live in Matthews. Austin Walker, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, Austin, thank you. Be safe out there. Still to come here at 6:45 this morning as thousands of kids head back to school this morning. We verify what precautions schools take during severe weather to make sure buses can be out on the roads.
And as we go to break, we're taking a look